It has been an exciting day for gold, especially as it's broken yet another record high, and silver is not being left behind either. Let's discuss the moves for both of these precious metals today in this video as we explore. Like it was not too long ago, we're seeing multiple days of gold breaking record highs, but this time it has breached a very strong psychological number, $3,600. We saw it happen. That was its high today, moments before the market's close. It got up to $3,600.90. Right now, it is up 1.21%. Up $43 today to $3,589.60. Even though silver has recovered some of its losses, not all of them. I'm a little disappointed in silver today. It should have climbed up much more than gold, but indeed it has not. It is only up 0.68% today, up 27 cents to $40.98. However, earlier in the day, we did see it move up after the employment numbers came out to $41.47, pretty much recapturing most of its gain or losses that we saw in the last couple of days. So what's behind this move? Well, it's all about the employment numbers and how the calculus is changing for what the Federal Reserve is going to do on September the 17th. Yes, indeed. I'm going to be reporting from an article here from investing.com that gives us a little bit of insight. But remember, through all of this, what it rules the day in terms of the movement of precious metals. When it all boils down to, it is psychology. And psychology and emotions tend to be overreactions to the market. That's why we should look for dips and buy accordingly when those dips arrive, much like what we saw in the past couple of days. My friends at Summit Metals, well, they sell precious metals, and they have transparent pricing. You see it right there. It's the price you pay. They're not overhyping anything. It's a great company to work with, great service with a customer service with Summit Metals, and they also will buy your precious metals from you if you need to sell. In fact, all you got to do is just mention my name, and you will get more than what they have on their website in terms of the price. So check that out if you're in the market to sell, which I don't really recommend unless it's a special circumstance. But nonetheless, here we are, and we're watching these markets move today, moments before these markets close. It'll be very interesting to see what happens when the markets open up on Sunday. Well, I do a live stream every Sunday night. I hope you will join me this Sunday night as we track the markets as they open in Asia at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday night. The gold prices jumped to a fresh record high today as softer than expected U.S. jobs report all but cemented expectations for a Federal Reserve interest rate cut later this month. Indeed, it has, and I'll get to that in a moment. Bullion, along with other broader metal prices, was also on track for a third straight weekly gain as the dollar lost ground amid increasing conviction in a September rate reduction. Indeed, that's the case. Gold benefited from increased safe haven demand earlier this week, sparked by concerns over stretched government debt and the developed world that sent sovereign bond yields rising. Uncertainty hovered around legal challenges to sweeping U.S. import tariffs and the Federal Reserve's independence as well. A host of Fed officials have signaled that the central bank was more open to cutting interest rates to help address persistent signs of cooling U.S. labor numbers. The much-anticipated key non-farm payrolls report showed that employment growth came in at a languished 22,000 in August, well below economists' projections, which I think was 78,000. Earlier in the week, a gauge of claims for unemployment benefit and a tracker of job openings both read weaker than expected, while private sector hiring also eased. Traders have ramped up their expectations for a rate cut as a result. So here's what the numbers are now from the Fed Watch tool. An 89.8% chance that the Federal Reserve is going to lower rates by a quarter percentage point, less than what I reported on just yesterday. It was in the 90s. Here's the difference. Now nobody believes that the Federal Reserve is going to leave rates unchanged, and 10.2% believe that they're going to do a half-point rate cut. Now, that high of a probability means that if they were to do it, watch gold and silver closely. Yeah, I'm talking about massive spikes if that were to happen. The 17th of September is coming upon us very rapidly. But this is what is propelling the market to kind of take that move, take that sentiment. So it'll be very interesting to see where it goes. Now, wilder metal prices also advanced headed for weekly gains for silver as well, and for gold. And platinum and palladium, by the way, are both down today. But nonetheless, that's what's happening here. And following the data, according to mining.com, traders are now almost certain the Fed will lower rates. And now we're seeing it again with 10% moving more towards a more aggressive 50 basis point cut. Gold makes new highs. Bulls are looking at the clearly weakening trend on the employment translating into multiple rate cuts, according to Tai Wong, an independent metals trader. And with the latest move, the yellow metal has now risen by more than 36% this year, as mounting risk in geopolitics and economy and global trade continues to drive safe haven demand. The outlook is undoubtedly bullish for gold as labor concerns override inflation for the short, probably medium term. But I think we still have too far away from $4,000 unless there is a massive dislocation, which is possible. Now, the analyst also flagged concerns surrounding the Fed's independence as a key factor in shaping gold trajectory, an issue thrust into the spotlight after U.S. President Donald Trump attempted to fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook and repeatedly pressured their central bank to slash rates. And in fact, I think there were hearings on her replacement. Now, the courts are the only ones that can stop her from being fired. But anyways, Goldman Sachs actually has now predicted that gold could realistically see $5,000 if Trump keeps attacking the Fed and succeeds in dictating its policies, which would erode investor confidence in dollar-denominated assets and bolster the appeal of bullion. Now, that's something we really don't know exactly how that's going to play out. But keep in mind that there's a lot of sentiment, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, and that will certainly keep playing a role in terms of what's gold and silver are going to do. And now, the gold to silver ratio has widened as a result of today's move to 87.82. Something else I really don't like to see. Silver, I think, should be a lot higher. But if we can hold on to $40 silver, as I mentioned, that's a good sign. Holding on to $40 silver for longer, that will provide new support as gold keeps pressing onward. It's just amazing. $3,600. It's wild to think about that. And it makes me glad that the latest purchase I made for gold, that I'll show you in another video, I'm essentially paying now bullion price for it, even though it's my rarest collectible gold coin ever. So it's very fascinating to see what's happening. Now, thinking of gold coins, this gold coin here, I'm going to talk about this a little bit. This is something that I got fairly recently, and this is a 2012 sovereign, St. George slaying the dragon. These sovereigns like this are very hard to make out what's on it. Even onto the naked eye, it's tough to make this out. So in part, I just kind of want to zoom in and kind of see it. You can see it's a more kind of a closer zoomed in version of the St. George slaying the dragon, like he's squeezed in a tunnel here. And you can see the spear going down to slay the head of the dragon there. St. George is there, and you can see there he is on his horse that is kind of leaning in here. But it's hard to really make out. This is a coin that would be nice to have in proof version. Of course, this side we can certainly make out. It's the queenie. But these sovereigns have that rose gold color to them. So it makes it look more coppery than not. And the year is also placed on the side here, as you can see. So as I brush this out, but I wanted to show that because somebody will undoubtedly ask me about that coin in this video. But so there it is. Now, one thing I like to do on this channel is give you the latest news in the world of precious metals and analysis. So if you enjoy what I do here, I hope you will consider subscribing. And I also want to thank Silver Slayer for recently mentioning the channel and bringing, so welcome all of you who come from Silver Slayer's channel as well. I have a little different approach than Silver Slayer does on precious metals, and I don't just talk about silver. So I hope you will continue to watch here as well as over there on his channel. But I want to also send my appreciation to all the rest of you for being here and for pressing that thumbs up button and subscribing, for those of you who are new and for those of you who have been subscribed for a long time. So with that being said, I want to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for watching and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.